What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Been a little while since we've gotten a new one in from Tempest Knives, but I'm very excited to get into this one with you guys. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, we have a brand new model. This is the Tempest Downdraft. It will be dropping on May 10th at noon. Got the specs here that I'll go over with you, along with all the options, where you can get them, and discount codes. The particular variant that I picked out, because you guys know that the 80s camo carbon is near and dear to my heart. I just absolutely love this camo carbon. I would say it's right up there with the Fat Carbon Frost as far as my particular favorite. You have contoured scales. It is reversible with a fold over steel deep carry pocket clip that works very well, goes in and out of the pocket nicely, good spring to it, easy to reverse. Just flip it on over by loosening the screws. I do like that. A little bit of a design cue here, kind of giving you like a faux bolster with a little bit of the cutout into the scale itself here. All T8 hardware, all titanium. Love to see it. If I didn't mention it, Kubi is the OE on this particular one. As you can see, you got a low profile flipper tab, an opening hole with the fuller. So you have many options to open this one, and it is dialed very nicely from the factory. But I will say, full disclosure, I like my detent just a little tiny touch snappier, a little tiny touch stronger. So I did disassemble this already. I recorded it, and I'll show you what I did to get that just little tiny squeak out of there. It was just a little light on the reverse flick. Absolutely perfect for that front flip. You got a nice Wharncliffe blade shape, nice tall flat grind with a very thin blade stock, nice factory edge. They did a good job. That plunge grind is about 50% of the way back, so you're going to get plenty of sharpening life out of here. And then the stop pin is internal, meaning that it is sandwiched into the blade itself. Believe it was. Let me double check that. Yeah, no, it's not. It's hidden. It's hidden. I'm sorry. I'm remembering a different knife, but it is hidden, and it is back here underneath the flipper tab. So if you wanted to, you could bring that out a little bit more, but honestly, by the time you get to that, it's going to be really thick anyway if you've done that many sharpenings with this one. The access to the lock bar is good. I did drop it down to the thumbnail there. I kind of forgot on this one. You want to kind of tuck it in a little bit if you're going to let it drop, so that it'll land on the meat and not on the nail, or just get out of the way. The reverse flick, the thumb flick, and of course the flipper tab, all really good from the factory. Like I said, I like it just a little bit stronger, so I did tune it a little, but I really didn't have to tune it that much. I'm able to get 3.5 finger grip when I'm using the choil here, but if I go into the choke up position here and I kind of let my 3 fingers rest in the back, hang over both sides a little bit, I'm able to get a nice comfortable grip. The contour scales are nice. It has enough thickness to it to where it fills the hand nicely. I feel like I can get a secure grip. I love that he went halfway with the jimping here. Choke back, you can choke up a little bit here. All excellent positions. And then for me, I kind of land right in that choil for me, and then a nice straight indexing, and I'm able to do some detailed work. So I did go ahead, take it down to the garage, do a little bit of cutting with it. As I mentioned, great ergos, very sharp from the factory. I didn't even notice that the paper was going through the blade, and it felt just like that when I moved over to the cardboard. Absolutely melting that cardboard. And then of course, with this Wharncliffe blade shape, it did an excellent job with those trace cuts. Just a great, nice performance, great knife with lightweight to it, but comfortable and thick enough to where you can definitely push to use this one hard. It feels very solid in the hand, even with the nested steel liners hidden in there. I like that a lot. He did get these really just, I mean, there's almost hardly anything left on that show side scale, and then a little bit of milling here in the back of the lock bar, but not too much is compromising that one. But again, feels very solid. Like I said, super smooth action. I've been carrying this one for a few days now, and I was really excited to get this review done because where I'm at now with my review process, I think I'm out through the 5th. So I want to get this published by the 6th to give everybody a few days to kind of check this review out, see which version they want to pick up. Speaking of version, let me grab the old paper here from KC, and I will just roll through the specs really quickly for you. All models are 154 cm blade steel. I don't even think I mentioned that. The overall length, 7.5 inches. Great EDC size for me, if you ask. 3.5 inch blade, 3.25 inch cutting edge with a 4-inch handle, an inset liner lock, all T8 screws made from titanium, and a steel clip that can be swapped out for the Lynch Northwest Spyderco wire clip. Goes for many models. There is going to be a blade bench version, code JD10. I believe is my code for Blade Bench. It'll be in the description. It'll save you 10% off of their dark mode version. He does make note that this is the first version that Tempest has done where they've offered any camo carbon on their knives. Very excited to see that. All right, let's go through some of the versions that they're going to have. They're going to have the Firestorm Edition, which is going to have your flamed anode and acid wash blade. Then we have your 80s camo carbon, but they have a black wash blade. So they do have one that's all blacked out with the 80s. And then, of course, this version here, which has the satin and stone washed. Next is going to be the bead blasted plain aluminum. That one's going to be a little bit less because the aluminum is a little bit cheaper to manufacture, about $10 less. And then we have your twilled carbon fiber with the satin, and that one's going to run you about $139. Again, all of these are going to be available on May 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I definitely will make sure I link these for you in the description so you can go right down there. I will also make sure I do a community post and some shorts to remind you guys that this one is coming. All right, having said all of that, let's do some size comparisons and really put the size of this into perspective for you. All right, we got my Manix 2 lightweight, and we have my Vero Engineering Mini Nova on the table. As you can see, very comparable to the Mini Nova and slightly smaller than the Manix 2 lightweight. Got a couple more to do. All right, on the table, we have the Artisan Cutlery Home, which is going to be just a little bit smaller than the Downdraft. And then we have the Tall Boy from Devo Knives, which is going to be a little bit larger than the Downdraft. Also, I did want to point out, this looks like it's possibly some leftover 80s camo carbon that perhaps Kubi had left in stock. You can see the more current, more recent drops that you have here from camo carbon. They did infuse a little bit more of the colors into the scales, and it is a little bit noticeable, but I still think they look really good even with some of the older inventory still out there. Let's grab the scale and check the weight on this one. I'm very curious to see what it's going to come in at. All right, we got the scale out. Let's cut her on. Coming in at 2.8 ounces. I am kind of curious how it compared against the Tall Boy, because the Tall Boy has no liner on the show side, but it does have a 3/4 length titanium backspacer, and you have the standoffs here. So the 3.2 on the Tall Boy, and again coming in at 2.8 on the Downdraft. So it is, again, a nice lightweight summer carry. Let's get the scale out of here and wrap it up. Okay, time for final thoughts and impressions. The way that I work, I grade on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. Usually materials like 154 cm limit kind of cap at 7 myself, but when you couple stuff with budget steels, but you get premium stuff like all titanium, carbon fiber, etc., that can potentially go a little bit higher on my scale. And when it goes above the 7, I do start to get a little bit tougher on the grading for that particular scale system. This one here, what goes into consideration before I get too far ahead of myself is going to be the fit, the finish, the ergos, cutting performance, how it opens and closes, so the detent, how that's done from the factory, and then of course the aesthetics, which can be subjective because it is myself grading the looks of it in that overall score. Well, for me on this particular one, I am at an 8. 2. I really like this. Great to see Tempest using some 80s camo carbon. Would I have loved it to have the newer camo carbon that's infused with a little bit more color? Yes, I would have, but I really just like this one. Great ergos, great action on here. Maybe could have had just a little bit more back there if I just wanted to choke back and put my finger in that forward choil on that hanging off the back. Minor thing. Love the jimping on here. I would have liked just a little bit more access, I think, to that flipper tab. I don't think you could have come up any higher though, because kind of looking at it, it interfaces with the lock bar, so I don't think you could have come any higher. So maybe just a little bit brought in here. I don't know if that would have been possible. Really just a minor nitpick thing, like if I could say something that I would have loved to have seen. But I like this design. I think it's great. I think it definitely, depending on the version, can flex into an office carry, gents carry, kind of unassuming, not offensive. In my opinion, I think it will definitely suit that. I think it'll also be a great summer weight for the carry in your pocket. It's not going to be too heavy. It's not going to take a lot of space up in the pocket. So just in time for summer, which I think is fantastic. Let me know what you think about the Downdraft down in the comments below. Again, the links will be down there. The only affiliate link I have is Blade Binge, so if you're going to get the dark mode one, definitely use your boy's link. It'll help the channel. If you're going to be shopping for anything else, the links in the description do help the channel as well, but that's up to you to use them. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated. If you're enjoying the content, definitely consider subscribing. Throw your comment down below to help the algorithm. Special shout out to my channel members. I think that's everything, guys. I'm out of here. I hope you have a great week. Catch you on the next one. Peace.